So as the midterm fast approaches, different polling organizations are trying to figure out what kind of issues motivate each side. So, what are the issues that Democrats care about? What are the issues that Republicans care about? And what are the politicians actually doing to address those issues to bring out people to the polls? Well, there's a study by Pew Research Center which looked at different issues that, again, are facing the country, and they ranked how much people actually care about those issues. Well, it's not a big surprise to show that, well, the worldviews between the left and the right are enormous. For example, climate change. Now, recently there was a big study that says that we have about 12 years left before climate change is basically devastating, okay? We have 12 years to head off the most devastating effects of climate change by the year 2100. And even before that. How many Republicans actually care about climate change? How many see it as a very big problem? Apparently, just 11% of Republicans see global warming, climate change, as a very big problem. Now, contrast that with Democrats. 72% of Democratic voters see this as a very big problem. And I would say the possible extinction of our species is a very big problem. So I would agree with that. But Republicans are like, eh. Now, I go back to seeing this meme about Jim Inhofe, who's like, I don't really care about it. You know why? Because science and climate change, whatever, well, God can just undo it. So we don't have to care about it at all because God apparently will do something about climate change. First off, if there is a God, right, that can magically snap their fingers and do whatever, then, okay, why would such a God, and this is going back to the Bible. I know I'm going to get a little off track and a little esoteric here. But just think about it for a second. Have a little thought experiment here. So, in the Bible, it says God gave us the earth, right? To be good stewards. We respond by trashing the shit out of it and dumping coal ash into rivers. Before the EPA, there were rivers that were so polluted that you could light them on fire. So, do you think God would be like, oh, don't worry about it, dog. I'll just clean that up right now. Well, if that's true, then why did we need the EPA to do it? And why did we need these organizations to do it? They make no sense when they make that argument. When people like Inhofe say, oh, no, don't worry about it. God will fix it. No. If there is a God, God's saying, look, you screwed it up. You live with it. Ridiculous, right? But nonetheless, that's the Republican Party. They're saying, nope, don't care. We don't care about this. This is not a big problem. Not a big problem at all. Now, there's more, right? The topic of sexism. Now, that's come up quite a bit, and it's actually been a big topic since at least 2016. It should have been a big topic a long time. But it really started coming up during the 2016 election because Hillary Clinton, of course, was running, and sexism was a big topic. Now, more recently, the big example here is Judge Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford. Now, Christine Blasey Ford, of course, accused Kavanaugh of rape and all that. The response from Republicans and Kavanaugh himself was deeply sexist. Oh, you should have kept your legs closed. Oh, you didn't remember. I believe that it happened to you, but I think you were misremembering. She's like, no, I didn't stutter. 100% Brett Kavanaugh. And again, the response from Republicans, from Donald Trump himself, was to mock her. Oh, I don't remember this. I don't remember that. You guys saw the video. Well, that lines up with the results from Republicans. About 12% of Republicans say that sexism is a major problem plaguing the United States, versus about half of Democrats. Okay. Now, not only that, racism. Now, racism, only 19% of Republicans, that's actually a larger number, that's probably the largest number here, 19% of Republicans say that racism is a very big problem in the United States, compared to about 63% of Democrats. On gun control. Now, look, we have a mass shooting nearly every day here in America, right? Now, Republicans, only about a quarter of them, then that's actually the biggest number, said that gun violence is a major problem in the United States, compared to about 80% of Democrats. As of October 15th, there have been 45,496 reported gun incidents in 2018 and 286 mass shootings in the United States. One nearly every single day. So, those are issues that Republicans don't think, a majority don't think, are actual big issues. Racism, sexism, climate change, that's not an issue. Don't care about that. And mass shootings, definitely don't care. Don't care. In general, Republicans didn't think there were as many big problems in the United States as their Democratic counterparts. Now, of course, that could probably, part of that is explained like, well, what are you talking about? Trump's making America great again. He's making America so excellent. Oh, really? How's that? Well, unemployment's down. Continuing a trend from the Obama administration. But wages are also stagnant. Don't mention that. Oh, the stock market's up. Yeah, this means rich people making money, not the rest of us. Oh, but there's this and there's that. And a lot of the stuff they point out are just plainly untrue. So, but again, part of this is, oh, there's no major problems. When basically the economy is almost the same as what it was under Obama, except that now rich people have even more money. The income divide is even higher than it was during the Obama years. That, again, I criticized him for not doing enough to be able to solve. And to be fair, it's not like the Republicans didn't block him on every single attempt to do so. I mean, basically, what Obama did was propose small Band-Aid solutions. Oh, let's raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour. The Republicans would block him on that. So, look, it's not like President Obama wasn't trying to do anything, but as usual from corporate centrist Democrats, what their solutions are never really enough to solve the real problem. And of course, they do so, these half measures, because, well, we can't be radical. And more importantly, we've got to reach out to our Republican colleagues who, in this case, blocked and swatted down every single piece of legislation that would actually help. The only things that were truly bipartisan was bank deregulation and tax cuts. So, and those are the only things that Donald Trump has actually done, and he's creating more problems into the future. $1.5 trillion in tax cuts. Now there's a budget deficit, and Republicans will use that and are already using that in their narrative to go and say, well, look, we've got gigantic deficits. Now we're going to have to cut spending on Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Well, we already have a plan drawn up for that. So, yeah, cut away. And too many Democrats are going to, of course, unfortunately, fall into that trap. But anyway, now, I want to give you a quote here from the Pew Survey. It said that majorities of registered voters who support Democratic candidates for Congress rate 13 out of issues as very big problems facing the country. Among voters who favor the Republican candidates in the district, majorities rate only 5 issues as big problems. More striking, several of the issues that rank among the most serious problems among Democratic voters, including how minorities are treated by the criminal justice system, climate change, the rich-poor gap, gun violence, and racism are viewed as very big problems by fewer than a third of Republican voters. And that really shows you, I think, that unless it affects them, it's not a problem. And we talked about this before. Hey, man, if I'm not personally impacted by this, then I don't think it's a problem at all. Racism? I'm white. I'll never experience racism. Who cares? Not a big problem. I'm not poor. Again, a lot of people who voted for Trump made over $70,000 a year in average income. More poor people actually voted in favor of Hillary Clinton during the election. So, I mean, rich people overwhelmingly supported Donald Trump because Donald Trump is a rich person who wants to make himself richer, and in doing so makes other rich people also richer through giant tax cuts for the rich. That's what it's all about. So they're not going to be affected by this. They're not affected by racism. And gun violence, hey man, look, they've got gated communities. They've got, schools with bodyguards, things like that. Yes, the gun problem is so rampant. I don't want to say that they'll never get affected. I think someday they will be. But even so, and I can go back to the shooting of Steve Scalise, how these Republican politicians were personally impacted by having a colleague that was shot right in front of them during a congressional baseball game, and they still didn't care. They're like, I guess we should have had more guns. So, yes, if it doesn't affect them, then it's not a problem. And these polls continue to show that over and over again. So the whole point here that I want to get to is say, hey, man, look, stop reaching out to Republicans. They don't care about the same things. They don't care about the same issues. They don't give a shit. They don't have the same priorities. They don't have the same worldview. Stop reaching out to them. Start reaching out to the majority of people who do share our values and who do see this as issues. People who are living in poverty, progressive activists, right? People, who are being affected by the gigantic disparity in wealth, whose wages have not been risen since 1980. We've got to reach out to the majority of people, independents and progressives, and not to Republicans who have shown time and time again they're willing to sell the rest of us out for a little bit more profit, for something that benefits them. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.